Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier is not in the studio. Gary Pascale sitting in the captain's seat. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Larry, and good morning, veterans. We got a great show planned here for you this morning on this rainy day. We hope we can take your blues away. We got Mr. Rick Hurley in the studio with us. He's an attorney and a very good veterans advocate. He's going to be talking to you about veterans benefits this morning. And we have Ed with us, and we also have Don with us this morning.
Good morning.
We do have a firefighter casualty, and we do have one local fatality that we would like to go ahead and announce. The firefighter fatality is firefighter Mike Hallenbeck, and he was with the U.S. Forest Service, the Lake Tahoe Basin Management Unit. He was the second firefighter, I believe, killed in those fires out there in the west there that's just raging so greatly. So our prayers and our thoughts go with that family and all those firefighters out there facing those fires in that terrible situation out there. We thank God here we have this rain and they have those terrible fires out there. And also I want to mention a veteran, a long-time Ocala veteran, Willard Langley, passed away this week. So our thoughts and our prayers are with Willard's family also.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Give our special thanks to the source here, WOCA Radio. Without them, we wouldn't have Veterans News Hour. And the wonderful folks at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nurseries, who have been bringing us Veterans News here for quite a while. They're located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in our own beautiful Ocala. When it comes to your landscaping, Bob Wines has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and much more. Bob Wines will even deliver, and if they plant your tree, they'll guarantee it. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery has been keeping things blooming in Ocala since 1952, and when you go in there to get your plants or your equipment for your garden, Bob Wines will give you a 10% discount if you let them know you're a veteran and you heard about them on WOCA Radio. And we also want to thank the fine folks at our Ocala Ford dealers. And I say dealers because when we say Ocala Ford, we're talking about those Ford dealers that service also in Gainesville, Leesburg, the Villages, and down in Bellevue. The main office is located at 2816 North Pine Avenue, right next to the Burger King, so you can follow your nose. They'll be glad to give you a good deal on a new Ford car or a new Ford truck, a used Ford car or a used Ford truck. They have other used vehicles also. They have a great service department, a great parts department where you can find that hard-to-find part that you can't find in the auto store. And if you're not sure about buying yet a new or a used one, they'll gladly lease you one. Now, you want to introduce yourself, Mr. Hurley, and if Larry, if you could give the number, maybe in case somebody might have questions for Mr. Hurley when if they want to call in.
All right. If you would like to call, the number is 622-9622, 622-WOCA.
Good morning. My name is Richard Hurley. I'm with the law firm of Corey and Hurley, and we represent veterans throughout the state of Florida as well as around the country. This morning I want to talk about a couple of things. Recently I had the opportunity to sit down with Congressman Nugent, and we were discussing the VA and all the problems associated with the VA, and I can tell you that the congressman seems as frustrated as the rest of us. We were talking about solutions, and I want to open this up for discussion because he was in agreement that there are three probably huge issues. One of them is the lack of accountability within the VA system.
Yeah.
Especially at the regional level, which is the level that the veteran is really concerned about. Bob McDonald's the head of the department, and that's great, but we really don't have any contact with him. But we do with the regional office and all the veterans in room 222 down there in Bay Pines. We were talking about the coffee breaks and the lack of interest and all these various issues that come up with the workers, and there is no accountability in that office. The supervisors don't seem to be managing their employees, and I can go on about that. But that's one issue. And then another issue is the culture that exists within the VA. And so long, and the congressman was in agreement on this, that so long as the culture continues to be what it is today, there will be no improvement in the VA, and thus no help for our veterans. Culture is generational. That's something that's not going to occur. A change in the culture is not going to occur overnight. It must come. The process has to start now so that the younger veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, maybe by the time they're in their 50s and 60s, they won't have the kind of problems that the Vietnam veterans and the Korean veterans are having today. So how do we change culture? Obviously, it should start from the top and then work its way down. But as we know in government, anything that works its way down is going to stop somewhere before it gets to where it needs to be, which is at the base, which is where the veterans, where the people are, and the people that are affected by the culture. We can't have veterans being shamed when they go in for a medical exam or a CMP exam when they're suffering from PTSD and being told, you're a man, get over it. And you hear that so often. Women who've been raped in the military and they go in for their examinations and the examiner asks them, well, what was your life like growing up? Were you ever molested by a family member? Were you ever assaulted by someone before you got into the service? Well, what does that have to do with what happened in the service? Certainly it's an issue, but there's something called aggravation. A condition can be aggravated by your military service. So if you've been assaulted, if a woman's been assaulted, or a man, we're seeing that too. I have cases where men have been sexually assaulted. So, you know, that condition could be aggravated for something that was pre-existing prior to entering the military. And, you know, we have to remember, if there was a pre-existing condition, did it come up when they were examined before they entered the military?
We take a little break if you don't mind, Rick, and we'll be right back. By the way, Rick did say this was open for discussion, so anybody want to call in, the number is 622-9622. We need to take a little break, and we'll be right back with Veterans News.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. We'll see more clouds than sun today with a shower and thunderstorm or two around, the high 86 to 90. Mostly cloudy tonight with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, low 71 to 75. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower and heavy thunderstorm or two around, high 86 to 90. For Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds with a couple of thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon, the high 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Don Nottingham of the Miami Dolphins here, proud to be this year's chairman of the Special Olympics Champions for Champions event. Come join players from the world of professional sports, sharing their stories with a great dinner on Friday, September 18th, and/or play at Candler Hills Golf Club on Saturday, September 19th. Either way, you'll be helping the Special Olympics of Marion County Champions for Champions. Call 988-7998 for details. That's 988-7998. Please help our Special Olympians.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 840-0750. That's 840-0750.
Located next door to Silver Spring State Park and a few minutes from historic downtown Ocala, our award-winning Holiday Inn Express Hotel and Suites of Silver Springs is a place to stay for a friendly, memorable, and fun experience. Enjoy our fast and free Wi-Fi, complimentary hot breakfast, and free parking. Whether you're in town for work or play, our friendly staff will make you feel right at home. That's the Holiday Inn Express and Suites of Silver Springs, proud sponsor of Friday night Marion County High School football on WOCA, The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we're in the middle of Veterans News. The phone lines are open, 622-9622. And Rick, what is your last name again? I'm sorry.
Hurley, H-U-R-L-E-Y.
Of course. Rick Hurley is here. And gosh, during the break just now, you told us some amazing things. I don't know if you want to recap what you said off the air, but that was pretty amazing stuff. Some of the soldiers you've helped, some of the vets you've helped, and one of the widows that you're helping right now.
We were talking about decision review officers and how important they are to the veteran because they make the decision. You know, I go in, my law partner and I go in and we present our case and all the medical evidence and all the statements in support of the claim, and we have to convince the decision review officer that our client deserves whatever percentage he's entitled to, or she's entitled to, whether it's 50% or 100%. We don't want to have to wait to and appeal his decision, because we know what's going to happen there, right? It's going to take a couple more years. We want that decision review officer to get it right then. So recently we had a young man, and he was fabulous down there at St. Pete. My veteran is 29 years old. And he's a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. He was awarded the Purple Heart. And we presented our case on July 17th of this year. Over the next 2 weeks after that, We provided additional evidence, had different discussions with him. We had to withdraw some claims because they were going to bog down the system. For instance, he had a TBI claim. It wasn't a good claim, so we withdrew it. And by working with him, within the 2 weeks, we got the decision for 100%, permanent and total, retroactive to the day that he was discharged from the service. And that's how the system should work. That was an effective process. Granted, it took some time to get that hearing, but once we had the hearing, the case was resolved in favor of the veteran, and he got what he deserved. We eliminated claims that were not service-connected, but the process worked because the DRO worked with me. Now, one of the things the DRO told me, because I asked him before I went to see Congressman Nugent, I said, what complaints do you have? He said, well, first of all, there are only 21 DRO officers, decision review officers, down there in St. Pete. And there are tens of thousands of cases that these people have to deal with. So we need more help there. So I told Congressman Nugent, let's put some more people in those positions. Let's not worry about the top side. We don't need any more chiefs.
Yeah, right.
We need a bunch of Indians.
Yeah.
And let's get some more DRO officers in there. Let's double that number. Let's alleviate the burdensome, the top head, the burdensome number of cases that are out there. The other thing he said to me is that too often representatives for veterans and lawyers are just as at fault on this one. Although the DRO did tell me that our law firm's one of the better ones. I like to say my law partner for that one. He's terrific. But they file a claim and they just dump the information into the VA. Here's my medical records. Here it is. And now they expect the DRO officer to sift through it, figure it out. The file's not organized. So now the DRO has to spend a lot of time organizing the veteran's file. Now, granted, there's a duty to assist, and the DRO shouldn't complain too much. However, if the file's organized, and if information that doesn't need to go to the DRO is not part of that file, then don't put it in, because the DRO is going to go through we hope they're going to go through every piece of evidence and every document that's in there.
Right.
So when a veteran's going out and hiring an attorney or getting a representative through the VFW or the Legion or disabled vets, you need to sit down with that person and make sure that person isn't just going to dump a file down in St. Pete. That's not going to serve you any good. And what you can do, and I'm speaking to the veterans right now, what you can do to help that person is organize your file. Get your medical records. If you've had, and this really should start the process for any VA claim. You should start the process. You should, get your medical records. If you've already been corresponding with the VA, have copies of all that. If you've previously utilized somebody to help you, you should have a copy of that complete file. Unfortunately, the number of cases that I get where we don't have that information is greater than the cases where they do have the information. So that's step one for any veteran. You just don't want to dump that file into the VA because it's going to get bogged down.
Right.
Now, we were talking before about a case that I just recently was hired, and this is probably one of the worst I've seen. Back in July of 2014, an award was given to a veteran, and his initial claim was 2007. He was awarded in July of 2014, 100% retroactive to 2007. He was getting 60% at the time. He was awarded 100% going forward. In October of 2014, the veteran unfortunately passed away. As of today, the family has never received the retroactive payment. The veteran never received his 100% going forward. So it's my job to find out where's the money.
Yeah, right.
And that's just shameful, absolutely shameful.
Right.
You know, I understand bureaucracy, but come on, that's just awful.
Mr. Hurley, the veteran, when he puts in the claim and it goes through the DAV takes it and dumps it into St. Pete. How can we eliminate that step, or do we?
Well, you can't eliminate that step.
Because it's already there, and that you just have to sit and wait for it.
Well, if you're what I do in my practice is my cases just don't sit there. My law partner and I, we're proactive. If the VA is going to if they're going to take time to settle and resolve a veteran's case, then I'm going to utilize that time to keep providing additional evidence to support that claim. For instance, let's say I'm going to use PTSD as an example. I always have my veterans write up a statement. The statement's usually anywhere from 3 to 5 pages. Not the statement of claim that you see that's part of the package, which gives you a small little paragraph. Mm-hmm. You know, you can attach a document to that. You don't need to utilize just that small paragraph. And so often I just see the veterans say, I'm a veteran of the Vietnam War. I want a claim for PTSD, period.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know, and there's nothing in there about why you want the claim. Where is the supporting evidence? What are the traumatic events? What happened to you in Vietnam? You know, were you an infantryman? You know,
right.
You know, none of that information's in there. Now, your representative is the person that's supposed to guide you to do that. So when my veterans hire me, and I always tell them to take their time doing this, and they always say, I'll do it over the weekend. Well, about 2 or 3 weeks later, I say, where's that statement? And they say, you were right. This statement, 3 to 5 pages. I started crying through half this statement.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because they have to relive it again.
Yeah.
You know, so let's say they do that. They did that a year ago, and the case is still pending. I call them up and I say, well, what's happened in the last year? Have you gotten better? Have you gotten worse? And they'll tell me what's going on. So I say, I want another statement from the date of the last time that you wrote that statement to today.
Right.
Let me know, because it's all about perception. When I was doing litigation in criminal law and civil law, I used to tell my clients, 80% of what's going to happen to you when you get into court, especially at sentencing time, is perception. That judge is going to see you. Are you wearing a jacket and tie? How are you groomed? And that judge may be sitting down there thinking, I'm going to put this person in jail for a year. And this has actually happened. It's actually a true story. And he sees that person and says, is this the right guy? Next thing you know, he's giving the guy probation.
Huh.
Perception. Well, it's the same with the VA. It's about perception. You know, we have to make sure that the VA understands that my client, my veteran, is not a crybaby. This is a real man or woman who went through a traumatic event, and anybody who has not served cannot understand what these people go through. The stress that they go through day in and day out, whether it's in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, the stress of the anticipation
right.
of what might happen. When you're lying in bed, are we being deployed today?
Yeah.
You know, imagine that. You know, I wake up in the morning, you know, and I have to worry about, well, am I going to take a shower at 9 o'clock or 9:30?
Yeah. 1 minute.
You know, I mean, so there's so many things in this discussion. We can keep going on, and I had a whole bunch of things that
I'm guessing somebody's going to want to call you probably after hearing that. Can you give your number?
Sure. My phone number is 727-612-1515. My office is here in Hernando, Citrus County. My law partner is down in Brandon. His number is 813-662-0760. Corey and Hurley, we have free consultation. We want to talk to our veterans. We're dedicated to our veterans.
Okay, good stuff, Rick.
Thank you.
And a lot of Vietnam era veterans like Ed and myself, we waited 20 and 30 years to get registered in the VA system now. Now, you veterans just coming out now, go ahead and get registered. Get your service records, get your medical records, and kind of get your ducks in order, because you just never know. And the better prepared you are, the better off you are.
10 seconds.
Folks like Mr. Hurley could help you.
Okay, 10 seconds.
God bless America.
From the mountain to the
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. 50 people are dead, more than 700 hurt after massive blasts in a Chinese port city.
This was the